Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another video edition of Real Talk, produced and presented by Let's Talk America Radio. I'm Shayna Thornton, on-air host and executive producer. And on this episode, I get to speak with some very dear friends of mine who also happen to be amazing experts and advocates in a very important field. I'm talking about the H word of health and also the F word of fitness. The one and only Jackie and Daryl Madison. So happy to have you all on the program. It's been around, but I think it's the right time now to talk about it because we are knocking on the door of spring. And so we're thinking of all the wonderful things we can be out and about, safety in terms of COVID, and so on and so on. But we start thinking about the physical fitness and the condition of our body as well. And so today's episode of Let's Talk America Radio is one that's important, and we hope that will be practical and helpful for everyone out there watching. But we have a tradition here, Jackie and Daryl on Let's Talk America Radio, where we ask our exclusive guests to introduce themselves. And I want to kick it off with you, Jackie. What brought you to the point to being an amazing health advocate?
Well, Shayna, for the viewers and listeners out there, I am a certified lifestyle and weight management specialist. So I am a coach. I motivate and inspire women in particular to, if weight loss is their goal, I motivate them, inspire them to lose weight if that's their goal, but help them on their health, wellness, and fitness journey. And what started me with this was, I don't have a problem telling my age. Everybody knows that. At the age of 43. Well, thank you so much. I had given birth to a beautiful baby girl. And at that time, I went ahead and I think I lost like 20 pounds prior to giving birth to her. And I went right back down to my size. And at 43, I personally never looked or felt better in my entire life. And it led me on a journey to be able to want to motivate and inspire other women to feel what I felt. And my little motto at that time was be happy, feel sexy, and look great. And I wanted other women to feel that. And that's what got me on that journey of motivating and inspiring, especially women over 40 and fabulous, to make health, wellness, and physical fitness a part of their everyday lives.
I love that. And we're going to talk about your 3 F words that I know you echo so often. I love it. And so many women, you're right. And thanks for focusing on women 40 and above, because so many fitness programs or advocacy platforms don't, right? They just say in general, but I love that you're addressing the tough topic of women over 40s as hormones begin to change and go up and down. And so you can speak from a realistic side of what it takes to get it off. But I know right next to you, you have your amazing husband who is going to talk with us. He is a fitness trainer. And I want to say, Daryl, you're so much more than a fitness trainer. You're also a health advocate, because for you, it's not all about, hey, muscles, let's drop the weight. You shared with us previously that you're interested in real life health markers as well, in terms of lowering that A1C, getting the blood pressure down, and even you've tackled dyslipidemia and cholesterol. But what got you to this point? Were you always a fitness advocate?
Well, pretty much, yeah. I mean, I've been personal training now for almost, 20 years, helping people lose weight, tone, strength train, and just reach whatever their fitness goals are. It's always been kind of like a passion of mine to just help people do better, help people become the best version of themselves. So that's kind of like how I got on this journey, and it's been a great blessing, a great journey of just seeing people, like you said, lower their cholesterol, improve their blood pressure and those type things. So it's been a great journey, and I always look forward to an opportunity to help people reach their fitness goals.
Yeah. And I thank both of you for having an amazing platform and being married, bringing that union together, because in so much what you advocate does really fit together like a puzzle. I want to kick it off with you, Jackie, because it's a tough question, but it's one that matters to probably pretty much everyone watching us right now, this episode of Let's Talk America Radio. We hear about weight loss all the time, but many Americans also can count people in their family, be it women or men, who have struggled with weight. Maybe most of us saw our grandmother be obese a majority of their life. Obviously there's going to be an age gap between grandmother and the children, or maybe even it's a mom or a dad. And for some family units, and I know what you, Daryl, JJ, and Dante, your two kids, what you all do, and I love it because it's such a great example of what the American family can be. It's physical fitness and it's fun as well. But you know, there are families that are not being shown that example. And Jackie, for good reason, right? Maybe mom is a single mom. She's working two jobs trying to make it work, or maybe dad wants to do his best, but he's got to work that extra shift to be able to pay rent for this month or catch up on mortgage. And we know there's a financial crisis going on right now in the United States. How can someone realistically focus on weight loss or being where they need to be, as your husband talked about, A1C lowering that can often, kind of collaborate or go hand in hand when you lose the weight, A1C dropping. But how can we do that if we've got 1,000 things in our mind? And there are lots of things that make a great parent, but one of the best things is keeping a roof over your head and providing shelter. Help us out.
Well, you said a lot there, Shayna. And what I'm going to come in with is, like you said, the busy mom or the single mom, or the busy dad. One of the things that I do know is that people that really want something bad enough, they make time for it, right? Yeah. And so that's why I have been no holds bar, holding back on being hard, you know me, on families and individuals, because I have said this, I don't know how many times before, but we make time for the things that we want to do. Am I correct? We do, right? And so when you say that, what I say to them is now it's something that we have to prioritize. And our health, if nothing else, is more important than anything else, right? You can't be there for your family. You can't be that good mom or dad if your health is failing like you want to be. I guess, let me not say you can't be that good parent, but what I'm trying to say, you can't show up like you want to show up if your health is not good. And so when you think about it from that angle, you have to say, you know what? This is important for my family. I have to do this. Remember, we talked about that why, right? What is your why? So your why has to be, this is going to help me live a long, healthy life so I can be there with my kids, so we can share in this together. And that's why you talked about my F words. That's why we make it family, fun, and fitness. So it's something that we can do together as bonding time instead of making excuses for it.
Good point. And I love that you say bonding time, because so many times, right, the mom may have her schedule, the dad can have their schedule. But one of the things they talk about in terms of a healthy marriage is doing activities as one. And that's what I love about your family when you include your two kids, JJ and Dante. The four of you are spending time together. Right. So it's no for the guilt trip where you're like, wow, I didn't have so much little time, but I'm leaving my kids, my significant other at the home. You're saying do it together, because as a mother, I can't think of a better example to show your kids that you're together and you're having fun and you're doing physical fitness.
And you're also leaving a legacy, because if you're training them, for years to come to exercise, eat right, and those type things, which is very important. Of course, 20 years from now, you want your kids to, still be doing the things like we're doing now, exercising, and then do it with their kids down the road.
Yeah, and that's such a good point. I want to transition into something, Daryl, that I think you're the right person to address this. Real talk for real people. So, we ask the tough questions here with a friendly smile when we do it, of course. But Daryl, a lot of your male counterparts, right, often don't really check on themselves like they should. Jackie just addressed the mom working, putting everything else in her health. Men also have something to address, right? When you talk to a woman under the age of 50 years old, not all, but a lot of them out there, and this transcends races and ethnicity groups, they go to the physician or see a provider if there is a work injury or their knee is bothering them. They're not necessarily going for wellness checks, even check on PSA if they're over 40, or even to check on blood pressure. Maybe they saw a provider once and said the blood pressure was up. They're not following back up. And much as we can talk about physical fitness and eating right, and you and your wife do a wonderful job about that, I can't help but think in the back of my head, but if we're not seeing a provider to keep track of these numbers or where we are we really working in vain if we don't have at least a benchmark on where we start?
Well, you always got to keep, trying. The benchmark is usually, of course, when you go see the doctor or something, he says, okay, we're having a couple of issues here, or this is something that you want to start looking at now before it gets too bad in the future. And like you were mentioning, among men, and it goes across all races and ethnicities, for some reason, we just think we're made of steel. And a lot of times that catches up with us and catches up with us more quickly than we would like. So it's just up to health professionals, like my wife and I, to keep just putting it out there, letting them know how important it is to do those daily checkups and those type things. And just, you know, like you said, do it for your family. Let that be a benchmark. Do it so you can leave, you know, be around for your kids. Let that be a benchmark. It could be just so many different things that you can look forward to if you take care of your health and fitness. And of course, do those things that you mentioned. Keep your regular appointments with the doctor and those type things.
Yeah, and I thank you for being a great example for other men to see as well, by saying we can make the time and do it. Jackie, and the next question for you is one that I think does need to be addressed as well. We talk about weight, right, so many times, and I don't want us, you or your husband or I, to overlook what may be obvious to us, but maybe not for others, because you know there are many people in different communities that will say, well, we're big boned people, we're thicker people, and it is what it is. And I want to make it clear, this episode is not to body shame anyone, and you know that about me. I think beauty comes in all shapes and sizes, absolutely. But we're talking about the H word of health right now, right? Because no matter if we all are the same weight or not, we're all going to be shaped different anyway. So be content with who you are and who God designed you to be. But talk with us about the dangers of obesity, because I know the three of us know it, but you know there's someone watching and saying, well, what's the big deal? Grandmother was like this, mom was like this, my aunts are like it. I mean, in all fairness, my boyfriend's happy that I'm this way, so you know, who is the doctor to tell me? Real talk for real people. Who is the doctor or that nurse practitioner or that health coach of Jackie and Daryl to tell me that this weight is not what's best for me? Make a practical, realistic, you are a working mother, Jackie. Make the case why and how obesity can truly be detrimental to our health. And that's tying into that why.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you one thing that I do know. Lifespan expectancy.
There you go.
Lifespan expectancy. So right now, it may be fine, but do you want to live past your 40s or your 50s or your 60s, right? That's what I'm talking about. My grandfather lived to be 104 years old. He got up every day and he walked. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He walked. He lived a long, healthy life. You know, it doesn't stop when you are 70, because I plan to live to be 100 years old. That's right. And how can I do that? Is by being conscious of my health, that H word that we talked about. And so right now, you know, I had done this before, you know, it was one of those sayings that skinny ain't in anymore. You know, it has nothing to do with being skinny or thin. What it has to do with is being healthy, right? So you might be 300 pounds, like you just said, but if you just lost, and I know my husband can attest to this or agree with what I'm saying, if you just lost 10% of your body weight, at least just that can help you with what? Diabetes, high blood pressure. So this is what we're talking about when we talk about, like you said, not necessarily weight loss, but what we're talking about is being at a healthy weight, right? That is so important. And so, no, you don't have to be skinny, but you do have to be healthy so that you can live. So your life expectancy can be longer than what you may plan at being 300 pounds or whatever it may be. So that's what we want to make sure that people understand, like you said, when we talk about weight loss.
Yeah. It's more than just looking. It's more than just looking good now. You want to be able to be healthy and look good years down the road, and have, like Jackie said, a long lifespan. You know, you don't want to just not take care of yourself as well as you can now and pay for it in another 10 years, where you can start doing the things now and live a healthy life another 20 and 30 years.
And that's such a great argument you and Jackie both make. And I will say, Jackie, that's the best explanation I've ever heard about it, because, you know, so many times we look in the moment, right? In the moment, I'm fine. And you're right. You're saying, but it's past living past 35. It's clearly most people want to live past 35 years old. So you have to really think of the future. And one thing you've always said, Jackie, as well, is the more you put on weight through life, and majority of people tend to gain as life goes on, you've always really advocated, and I'm going to use a P word, preach, that it's harder to lose. So
Yes.
you've always said, try to keep that weight
Right.
under control. And that's why, Daryl, my next question is for you, right? We focus so much on weight and weight loss, and we say you've got to do this and that. But I've heard you say this on social media, being skinny doesn't necessarily mean you're healthy. And so make the case for those that are slim or those that are at a healthy weight that they too need to be doing the things that are going to be healthy long term. Such, I know you certainly going to use the P word again, preach about keeping the heart muscle in shape. And that's by doing some cardio. So make the case for someone that's like, hey, I eat what I want now, right? We've all been there, 25, I should too. But, but I eat what I want, no big deal. But you're saying it doesn't matter where we are now, we've got a plan for a future, like your wife made that point.
Yeah, yeah. And people that are skinny can also, skinnier of lighter weight, they can also have diabetes, high blood pressure, and that can be very tricky because you think about appearance wise, you really don't have to take care of yourself as much. You can eat what you want, drink what you want, and 5 years down the road, you're not going to look like that. Or if you go to the doctor, you're going to be like, "What? I got diabetes, but I'm only, I'm only about the same size I am now." So it's not necessarily about, like you said, living in a moment. It's about still doing those checkups, even though if you are a smaller person, maintain doing still exercising, still eating right, and those type things. So you can, number one, maintain where you are, because just because you're that way now does not mean that you're going to be like that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, outward wise as well as inward wise. I mean, if you're not taking care of yourself now, doing the right things, regardless of what size you are, you're still going to pay for it 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, of course, being thinner is better, but don't let that mislead you and, have some kind of false beliefs in your mind, and it catches up with you down the road.
So true. This is real talk for real people. As you can see, we're getting some practical advice that's realistic, but also helpful from two advocates and experts. The one and only Jackie Madison from Glamour Girl Fitness, and her awesome dynamic husband, fitness trainer Daryl Madison. He is the creator and owner of the amazing health system Size, which I've tried. It is truth. I will tell you that. That's not an endorsement, but that is just keeping it real. He wants you to work up a sweat, and he believes you can do that anywhere. Before we head out, Jackie, I want to talk about something that so many people struggle with. Not saying current company is excluded or included, but I'm just going to come there and go there. When it comes to food options, right? I follow your challenges on social media, Jackie, and I know you are so sincere about us staying on track. And we read your post, and it is real, it's practical. And I love that you say just because you messed up on the weekend, don't carry that guilt into the week. And so many people do. But talk to us about making healthy choices, because one of the most dangerous things, and you've shared this with me, is hunger. Because what happens when we're hungry, because we're working, we're doing things, then we go for what's quick and easy. And what's quick and easy is not always the healthiest for us. It's often processed foods we're picking up, or we've overeaten, and then we feel guilty about it. Help us just really work through that cycle of food guilt when you want to do right, but then you said, oh no, I had 10 pieces of cake and I wasn't supposed to do that.
Yeah, sorry. So let me, that food guilt, right? And I don't know if you may have heard me say this before. We can have these things in moderation.
Okay.
What we have to realize that anything in moderation is okay, but it's not that we should have ice cream every single night, right? You don't have to have it every single night. You just had it yesterday.
What?
And then I've also said, that donut, right? Krispy Kreme is going to be here next week. Like I said, plug to Krispy Kreme. They're not going anywhere. And so when it comes to making healthy choices,
yeah,
I always like to deal with the acronym HEED. And I've said this before, is it should be healthy eating every day, right? So that we can have all the things that we want, but we need to have them in moderation.
Okay.
And so living a healthy lifestyle is having these things in moderation. Doesn't mean you have them every day of the week. For families, we like to say treats, right? Just like we give our children's treats, that's what we should do for ourselves. And that's what we should do, and plan to maybe do it on the weekend. And during the week, you should actually have a time set up for where you're saying, I'm going to eat, healthy every day. And then I'll add in these little extra sweets and snacks that are maybe not so healthy in moderation. And that's what I think people need to get back to and realize that it's a place for all food groups, but you have to know the keyword moderation.
That's right.
And if you're somebody that struggles with that, like I've said before, Shayna, then don't buy it, right? You can't eat what's not there.
Yeah, right.
And I know we've had conversations before about, well, what about our children? Well, then we want to be healthy examples for our children, right? And so just like with them, when we give them treats, that's when we get our treats, right? And so we want to be examples for our children, for our family. So that's why I want us to remember to practice this in moderation, heed healthy eating every day, and then you can have these things when you want to add them back in. But if you have a goal to lose weight, if that's your goal, remember it'll be there later once you get to where you want to be, and then you can add it back into your meal plans.
And what a great point, because you're right. No one is forcing you to buy those unhealthy processed snacks in the store. We're making a conscious choice, and so good point. And when we bring in our kids as an example, well, just because I'm eating right doesn't mean they need to, but we do need to be setting a legacy. Like you said, and after all, we've got to be realistic. If they have our smile and our eyes and hair, they're also going to pick up the other genetic dispositions. And we need to recognize if we're struggling with weight, or be it dyslipidemia, cholesterol, or blood pressure, or diabetes, we know there's a pretty good chance they will as well at some point, right? So to really start those habits now. As we close out, Daryl, your wife makes a wonderful point, and there are those watching us that say, well, I can eat right, but I don't have the time to exercise. Or there are people that says, I can exercise all day, but when it comes to the eating part, that's more difficult. People vary in where they are, but your wife is right. I don't have to buy those wonderful, delicious Debbie snacks, do I? And I'm not picking on this. I'm not talking about myself necessarily. But I don't have to. But when it comes to fitness, that part that you're an expert in and exercising, that's a little different, because I do have to eat every day, right? We know that several times a day. So I can be conscious of those decisions I'm making, but I'm not necessarily forced to exercise. And so I think there are some people who can say, I can choose the right foods, as Jackie said, if I just don't buy the bad foods. But exercising is a different conscious choice. Help us out and close us out on the discipline to find a way to work out somehow. Because, for millions of working moms and dads out there, they're saying, Daryl, I hear you, but I don't have the time. Help us out, make your case as we close out.
Well, it's kind of like piggybacking off of what Jackie said. We make time for things that we want to do. You have to realize why it's important. And to be healthy, you need to be fit. You need to eat right and exercise. It's a combination of both of them. And, you just got to make up your mind to and be determined that you're going to work out. You don't have to start off all crazy or anything like that. Take baby steps until you reach your goal, whether it's, I'm going to start off working out for 15 minutes today and do that for a whole week. And then the next week, add 5 minutes or something like that. Or, you don't have to just start off doing something real strenuous. Do what's best for you, or let the exercise meet you where you are.
Yeah, that's such a great point. Meet you where you are. And I know you all say, even make it fun. I've heard you and your wife both say it doesn't necessarily have to be a gym membership or employing a fitness trainer. You're saying it can be anything, even if it's a brisk jog around the house, or if someone says, well, I live in an apartment and I can't go outside. I've seen you even advocate, you can pull out a chair, right? Daryl, you can do things that are free that doesn't cost.
Yeah, there's YouTubes, there's DVDs, there are all kind of health and fitness programs on TV, and like we doing, as Jackie was saying earlier, incorporate the family, make it fun, make it fitness. We can get everybody involved, 15 minutes a day, and believe it or not, once y'all start doing that, a couple of people in the group will be like, man, I really like this, really enjoy it, and that'll kind of inspire the rest of the group to keep going.
Especially, Shayna, when you have children, right? Because they love having fun. And one of the things we do is we work out to music, right? That's a universal language. So kids, So we do dance fitness, right? Whatever it takes to get the family moving, that's what you do. And so again, we don't make excuses. We definitely try to make it fun.
Like we have Friday family fitness a lot of times. You know, we just Friday evening come down in the basement, blast the music. Dante and I'll be working out on weights. Jackie and JJ will be, you know, on the elliptical or either on the treadmill, and you know, we'll get together, start dancing at the end, and you know, just making it fun. Just making it fun for the whole family. But at the very least, even if you're doing it individually, it's important to have a goal, have a plan, get started. Like I said, you don't have to start off crazy, but get started. That's the most important thing, and make sure that you're dedicating yourself to it.
I love it. I love that the two of you are examples for everyone out there as working American families, right? That's so key, because so many times we see different examples, and that's not picking or, you know, trying to punch holes in anyone's platform, but you are saying we're working parents, we have children, no one else takes care of our kids, we take care of our kids ourselves. So you're like, I'm not necessarily in a zone or in a bubble where that's all I'm doing is focusing on what I'm doing, physical fitness. So that to me makes your story even more successful, even more empowering, because I can do it because you're doing it and you're showing me that it's possible. I love the two of you, and I love what you're doing. Continue to motivate us, inspire us, and set the legacy, not just for your kids, but for millions of kids as well that are watching. Before we head out of here and we run out of our time, Jackie, tell us where we can find more information about your platform, and then Daryl, let us know as well.
Well, you can follow me on social media platforms. I'm Get Fit Glamour Girl Style on Facebook, as well as IG, Get Fit Glamour Girl Style. So you can find me on both of those platforms. And then I'm under Jackie Madison, which is personal.
Thank you. Daryl?
You can find me on YouTube under Daryl Madison. You can also go to chairexercise.com to learn more about the chair exercise program that you were talking about earlier. Lifestyle Fitness, the #1.com. You can also find me on Facebook under Chairexercise Fitness, and on IG under Chairexercise_fitness.
I love it. I love it. Thank you two so much for joining us. We're going to have to bring you back on later in the year to do a check-in with us, right? We're going to do a check-in in spring to see how we're doing and get us motivated for all the right reasons. Thank you two so much for joining us. Everyone, thanks for watching yet another episode of Let's Talk America Radio. We keep you informed with real people, because you're real after all, and you need to be encouraged and informed by those who have walked that journey and that path. Hopefully we're all continuing along a healthy journey that's going to keep us here for a very long time. If not, it's a perfect time to start back, as Jackie and Daryl have certainly given you some great options and a reason to never forget your why. Stay tuned in for more information on Let's Talk America Radio. Visit ltaradio.com. Again, that's ltaradio.com, or follow us on social media. Simply find us you can do our handle, which is LTA Radio, or our hashtag, which is LTA Radio. Stay safe, everyone, and stay fit and healthy as much as possible. You deserve the best version of yourself. And P.S., your kids do too. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks, Jackie and Daryl. We appreciate you. Keep it going.
Bye. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. Enjoyed it.
Always.